Hello everybody. So, back on the Crawford, and today, well, it's actually an ongoing project. I've got some updates of what I'm planning on doing with this old girl. So, but kind of like one other YouTuber, you can get stuck into side projects, or you get stuck with side projects. This side project for the main goal is my taper attachment. It also has the back end of the cross slide lead screw. This guy was out of adjustment, so as I was turning, I would get this horrid like little dead spot and it wouldn't crank. Like, that's the nicest it's been since I started doing adjustments. So it's really good. I've got it dialed, because beforehand I would spin and well, the nuts were loose, so it was binding. So I got that figured out. That took a couple minutes. Excuse me. So the next thing I figured out is when the... Sorry. I'm tired and I haven't had any lunch today, so that's on me though. This assembly here that someone at some point in the lathe's life, they had to make this. Presumably to replace something that probably got broke during a crash, because well, the lathe's been crashed a couple of times. Yeah. Anywho, so they had to make this thing. Well, let's call it an end cap. So this end cap, they kind of ham-fisted it together. It wasn't quite straight. It wasn't very true, nor did it have good sharp angles. So the first thing I noticed is that it's sliding this down, it would bind. And it's got to be able to move back and forth to work with the taper attachment. So I've got it now where there's like maybe a couple hairs width of play, so it does slide rather nice. To be honest, I might have overdone it. Maybe a little much. I don't know. We'll find out the next time I try to cut a taper. The other thing though it was doing is, when I would tighten the bolts down against the back of the carriage, what it would do, because of the way they had built this thing, is it was pushing down. And in doing so, it was causing the lead screw to bind in this assembly, further making it very difficult to actually turn. That's probably what caused these guys to eventually loosen off, because using the power lead screw feature with this knob here turned in, it was applying all the horse torques and forcing its way through, which would probably explain why some of my facing operations under power looked like dog food. So yeah, so I took it apart to show everybody. I did put it back together prior, tightened everything up nice and snug. Don't need to go over grunk, just grunk for tightening. And yeah, it's working great, so I'm happy there. On to, well, the whole reason that I caught this, which I'm really glad I did. I took the cross slide off, and eagle-eyed people will notice that there's pointy bits here. And the reason being is, well, the whole pattern really isn't all that great. Somebody, again, in the lathe's past, drilled 4 holes, presumably, I think, for the, I have a tool post grinder, and I think they had it mounted here, but I'm not sure. I actually haven't lifted it out. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Sorry, I got the yawns today. So that's the tool post grinder. I have not tried to mess around with that, but that is in the future, because that'd be kind of a cool thing to mess with. So anyway, I took the cross slide off, because to be on, or sorry, the compound. I took the compound off because, in all honesty, I don't use it a ton on this lathe. It's kind of hard to dial in because there's no degree marks anywhere to help a person figure out what what angle they're dangling. So I figure, why not make a solid tool post? I got the idea from another YouTuber down in Australia, not an engineer. The guy is great, really good machinist. Claims to not be an engineer, but I don't know. He's pretty darn smart for not being an engineer. Anywho, he had a solid tool post made by one of those online ordering outfits. You send him a CAD drawing and pick your material and what kind of finish you want, and boop, it arrived at his door. They're one of his sponsors, so why not? I don't have that luxury, and so I thought, you know what, heck with it. I'm going to try and make my own. I ordered a block of steel from one of our local bulk suppliers. It's 3 inches tall because that's what the compound's height was. 8 inches long, 6 inches wide, and I made these pins, these center punch pins, I'm going to call them. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to true the material up, get it nice and square, and then I'm going to lay it on top of here and very delicately, very carefully, because this is some kind of creepy cast material. I noticed that when I was threading the holes. Very carefully, I'm going to love tap each corner, effectively giving me a drilling pattern with which I'll be able to go whoop and drill through the block and have all my holes perfect where I want them. I have some ideas of how I'm going to shape the thing. It's going to be pretty. It's not going to be just a big old glob of steel on top of my carriage. I'm going to try and be angularly artsy with it. Yeah, that's the best way I could describe it. Yeah, so I took some time to clean the travel ways, get those all nice and shined up with a piece of a mechanic and a machinist's best friend, the purple Scotch pad. Works good. A little bit of Castrol Super Clean, and got all the gunk and the junk off. I'm going to replace these bolts for the gib screws. I'm going to change those out because a couple of them, the heads are bent, like somebody went to Torque Town on them. I don't know why you'd do that, because I'm pretty sure you don't need to horse a gib down to the point where the slide doesn't move. Well, maybe, I don't know. Well, I don't know what they were doing, but they were being pretty grunky with it. So, yeah, I'm going to put new ones in. I didn't bother drilling out the holes. The 1/4 inch coarse thread, I'm sure that's plenty fine. I don't need to get crazy with it. What else is going on? Actually, you know what? That's pretty much it. Cleaned all this up on the mill with a new 6 flute 12 mil end mill from AliExpress, and not bad. I'm pretty happy with the finish. Now, ignore the fact that, well, there's that there. That's actually butter smooth. I was freehanding this because I don't have a DRO. So yeah, like I took off a couple hair widths on the inside, but this is where I did the main improvement, was just taking some of that surface down so that when this guy is torqued down, it's not putting pressure on that, like I said earlier, and making this thing bind up. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. Crawford is running well, no issues. And yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll catch you later.